So we have come back with a very interesting topic about how to read the world in 2018. A very interesting topic for a lot of people who are looking at different news and they can't actually build a context out of it. So it's a very dynamic world. It's a world that is changing all the time. It's a world that is interesting in a state between competition and cooperation. And we should have some kind of framework in order to understand this. And in this topic, I'll talk about three frameworks. So let's start. So politically and in terms of military point of view, we can think about the world as a superpowers, great powers, or regional powers and great powers, and then normal countries. And if we look at the world, we can see that the superpowers, or the ones that are really competing on the position of superpower, which is, I would say, the United States, China, and Russia. Some people say that only United States is superpower. Personally, I think it's good for us as a framework to put the three on the same bar. And I have my own way of why we should put them in the same bar. The second one, we look at great powers and regional powers, and we look at countries like Turkey, we look at countries like Iran, we look at countries like United Kingdom, France, Germany, Indonesia, and we look at countries like South Korea, Japan, and maybe Brazil and Mexico. We look at them as countries with a regional power and regional influence. And the others are normal countries that are trying to living within the sphere of these countries. So if we look at that, those regional countries that are trying to push their interest are very similar to great powers who are also trying to push great powers and regional powers within their influence. So everyone is trying to become more influential in terms of power and trying to build a group of countries around it. So we look at also countries that are trying to reach the stage of regional power. We look at Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, but they are very far from that comparing with the others. And that was a very quick look on political and military regional power. Then we look at economical power, and with that, the European Union by far is an economical superpower. We look at the United States, and China, United States, and European Union are definitely economical superpower, and we see countries like Russia are not reaching that stage. They don't have the same influence on the global economy as Europe or as the United States or as China. That is being said, that's a quick look at things. And basically, if you are an economical superpower, you would always try to push your economical goals by showing that you have superior products, superior services, and you showing that you are contributing to the world economy in terms of innovation, in terms of technology, in terms of economical thought, and so on. If you look at Europe, they are always contributing in terms of machinery. The United States is contributing in terms of technology, and we see China is catching up by copying by doing things cheaper. So Europe is more into machinery and equipments. United States more into and maybe sometimes fashion and so on. And maybe the United States is more into technology and energy and maybe some agricultural products. China is about copying all at cheaper price. So that's the quick look at things. Now we look at the ideology and what countries are trying to promote. So we look at that the European Union is trying to promote that we are, and the United States, but at different levels. The European Union is trying to promote that we are a democracy. We promote democracy across the globe. We would like to see a better state for democracies across the world. Would like to see a better freedom in general, freedom of speech, personal freedoms, a better human rights across the globe, and maybe a better environmental issues and a better environmental concern and environmental activism. So this is what the Europeans are trying to promote. The United States, they talk about set of values associated with democracy, justice, and freedom, and they are trying to promote that. But however, they have a very bad record with their current administration. And globalization, they are trying also to push a globalization agenda, and they are trying also to retreat from that recently. In terms of China, they are keen to globalization and keen to contribute to the world through their products. And if you want an infrastructure loan or so on, we will have a bank that can support you for that. So we will be very keen in helping you in terms of building your infrastructure. But they are not trying to promote their political model, and they are not trying to promote their human rights agenda. They are not trying to promote any particular school of thought that can be special and associated with China. So, and based on that, we see a world that is in a state of competition and cooperation, and we see there is a very active areas of conflict. So we see countries like North Korea is an area of severe conflict and area of complex problems for many people across the globe. We see also that Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon line is a place of confrontation and a hot zone. And we see some part of on East Africa, Somalia, Egypt, Eritrea also is slowly becoming an area of an active conflict. And also we see maybe some areas in Venezuela and so on, and some areas in South America as an area of active conflict. Other than that, other countries in the world does not have the same level of conflict. We don't see much conflict in Europe. We don't see much conflict in Canada. We don't see much conflict in Central Asia. And based on that, you can see the world and understand where is the area of conflict, where is the area of cooperation, and how you can understand who's a great political power, who's a great economical power, and how you can build some level of collaboration. That was my quick intake on things. I wish a great evening, and I hope that those thoughts will help you to understand the world in a better way. And I shall say, salam.